Hi guys, Reaper here. I'm going to talk to you in this short video about some of the up and coming changes. I'm currently on the test server. You're able to go on the test server by getting to the character selection screen, and on the left hand side you'll find there's a test server option. If you click to download that, it's around 70 megabytes. To patch it, you reload the game and you're back on the test server, and then each time you want to swap back between test and actual live server, you will have to repatch. So this patch is due to come out on the 27th, or the test server is due to run until the 27th, should I say. I hope there's some changes that I'm a little bit baffled about, so I thought I'd try to talk to you about a few different things. My medium missile launchers previously, or on the current test with the same skill, same ship, 497, that's now up to 574. Massive boost to damage, and if we compare mostly all of the stats, in fact all of the stats that you can see here are identical, so the only difference is the damage. Medium missile launchers have been boosting damage, which is a good thing. Screenshot showing my medium missile launcher damage on the live server, 497 compared to that 574, big boost. People should be quite happy about this. Now, moving on to the part that people will certainly not be happy about. Look at my current damage on these medium rapid launchers. If we look at the comparison, the explosion, velocity and radius remains exactly the same. The only thing that's changed is the range has been slightly reduced and the damage has been reduced by 100 or so. I thought the reason for rapid mediums being nerfed was due to the fact that these medium-sized launchers could hit frigates as well as they could hit cruisers, and can also apply a decent amount of damage to battleships. Looks kind of not very well thought through, in the fact that it's just the range reduction and a slight DPS reduction, and I just don't think that that's really the right kind of balance, where if you consider the medium missile launchers being so useless at firing against frigates to the point where they were unusable, all they've done is increase the DPS by just under 100 and not really change anything else. Well, they're still going to be useless against frigates, so I do not see the point. I hope that there's some tweaks that happens to this before this goes live. I hope people understand and realise this. Looking at the new modules, we've had stasis webifiers and warp disruptors for some time, but finally we now have the warp scramblers. If we have a look at one of the entry levels, a Mark 7, you can see that this is a shorter version of a warp disruptor. It has a higher strength with the added ability to shut off micro warp drives. This is something that was very popular in EVE Online, and I'm sure it will be here for Frig PvP. Top range version has a 15-kilometer range, so that's actually not too bad. You won't have to have as many warp disruptors on your ships. You can have less things in your mid slots, enabling you to use other things. And the strength on the top one was 5, mid-ranged is 4, and the regular meta Mark 7 was 3, as we just saw. Also, we have sensor dampeners coming out if people are going to be using ships like a Celestus, and we have for the Arbitrator the tracking disruptor, which will reduce the turret tracking speed of your enemies in PvP or PvE. The target painter, I'm not sure how effective this is going to be. Something worth testing, might be beneficial for battling frigs using the medium missile launchers. And then we have the guidance disruption to lower the effectiveness of missiles overall. Also, if we scroll down the mid-slot section, you'll find the interdiction modules. You've got a sphere launcher, so this, when you have this live or running, the activation time's 30 seconds. It will increase your inertia modifier by 1,000 times, making you static. And we also have the warp disruption field generator, so a pretty standard one, 17.2 kilometers radius. That will make a bubble which will prevent any ships from warping. They can only be used in nullsec, so if you're jumping into nullsec and you have 5 stabs fitted all running live, you will not be able to bypass one of these, which is what I was hoping for. Also, on the beta version, you can see it's at slightly more range. To use one of these modules, you'll be using one of the new cruiser ships, which we'll have a look at now, and the actual generation modules are using 1200 gigajoules every 30 seconds. So to maintain that, you're going to have to fit your ship to accommodate, and you may want to throw on some E-War, as these are more or less I would say, E-War vessel, using the target painters and the tracking disruptors. So you can see here on the ship, you can use on the Blackbird interdictor +1 module, and you've got sensor strength bonus to missile damage. That's tier 8. Tier 10, you get a slightly more beefy version with some more slots overall, more damage, very much similar in principle. And then a ship that I used to like flying quite a lot here was the Arbitrator. The Arbitrator interdictor, having a bonus to tracking disruption, also has some drone DPS bonuses. So yeah, looking at this overall, guys, a little bit confusing. They're boosting the damage to medium missile launchers, but they're not increasing their effectiveness against frigates. Again, we've got the target painters coming out, so that might help and benefit, and a nerf to medium rapids, which is slightly reducing the DPS, slightly reducing the range, but they're still going to be overall as effective against smaller targets like frigates. I thought that would be somewhat the change up, so again, I'm not too sure if this is the right way to go about this. To me, shorter range weapons should have higher damage, and with this change, the longer range weapons are going to have the higher damage, except less useful against frigates, and the rapid mediums will still be as effective against the frigates. So I just don't know whether this is really the best way to go about this. There could be better ways to do it. I was certainly expecting something different to do with the explosion velocity and radius. Let us know what you think. Thanks, guys.